Hai incredible people, I am Fadhlullah and welcome to Fadhlullah Ngalor Ngidul podcast. A podcast that aims to share experiences and to increase knowledge to others in order to make people who listen to be insightful. Enjoy it! For season 2, Fadhlullah Ngalor Ngidul podcast has a podcast series called EKYOK, Excellent Youth Talks. This program aims to share about life development from incredible youth. In this episode, I am joined by my best friends from Diponegoro University. The main topic for this episode is handled by Halodul Production. Each episode has one topic include a few subtopics inside, and we will discuss and sharing insight and point of view about the topic. Without further ado, let me introduce myself and my best friends. Hello listeners, welcome to EKYOK, Excellent Youth Talks English Podcast Series. I am Fadhlullah, a public health student from Diponegoro University. EKYOK, Excellent Youth Talks is English podcast series that aims to share about life development from incredible youth. Today, I am joined by my best friends, Alma, Anthony, Belinda, Lukman, and Valda from Diponegoro University as well. To start the topic, we will start with the check-in question first. The question is, if you get a cash prize of 100 million, what will the money be used for? For me, if I got the prize, I will use the prize money to build my art studio, to make podcast and YouTube video creations by advanced technology that can support the content to be created. A quarter money will be saved and last I will use for business capital. And how about you guys? Maybe Alma?
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so for me, if I win 100 million, I don't know. I think I'm gonna split it up first. 5% to buy skincare and makeup because it's essential for me. 20% to buy a tight, high knee leather boots and all of the fashion things that I've always dreamed of. 50% to buy gold bars as my form of investment, and then the rest goes to the deposit account in the bank. That would be my best plan if I ever win 100 million. What about you, Lukman? What will the money use? What will you use the money for?
That's a hard question. But I guess my first quarter will be an investment in gold or the stock market, and another 10 million to buy a brand new camera gear and probably a fixed lens and several filters. And I should allocate the rest of it to my dream trip around Europe. And yeah, that's my dream trip. And I'm curious about Valda. What will you use the money for?
Wow, for me, I think my hedonistic soul wants to buy a house or at least a land, but they're cost like 100 times from the budget. So if we are talking about realistically, I will invest in 1,000 grams of gold and give the rest to donation for the refugees. And what about you, Anthony?
Okay, first of all, guys, that's a huge amount of money, I guess, for us as a student. For me, if I win 100 million, I think I will save it or invest it to the investment, maybe like property or stock or mutual funds and other things. And 60 to 70%, I think I will invest it, and the rest of the money, I think I will build a high-end PC maybe for later time. I think it will be useful for my work later time. And last thing, I think I really want to buy this thing this time, PlayStation 5. Another hype in 2020 is PlayStation 5. Everyone want to buy it. Every boys, every man want to buy it. And yeah, so me too. Yep, those things I'm gonna buy if I win 100 million. What about you, Bel?
Boys.
Boys will be boys, sure. What about you, Bel? I'm curious about your wish list.
Yeah, I really wish this is happening for real though. Then I immediately put it aside for Hajj, of course. Then I use it to help ease the burden of my parents since I'm the first children of my parents. And I will help my brothers too. I already have two younger brothers. And so far, I only thought about investing in stocks too, like Lukman, saving for some emergency funds so my future self can thank myself later, and treatment for myself. That's it from me.
Wow. Belinda is family oriented ya.
Yes, I am.
And so religious. I'm so proud.
Amen.
We are so proud of you. Ngidul.
Amen. Okay guys.
Thank you. Ray.
It's like a miracle to get a cash prize of 100 million ya. Move to the main topic. Today's topic we gonna talk about the people pleaser, how to respond to this thing when making a commitment. Okay, Anthony, in your opinion, what is the definition of the people pleaser? Kindly you can give your point of view about the question.
Okay, Dul. Well, at first I was just thinking that people pleaser is one of the types of people who put other advantages above their own advantages and just love to help other people in many cases. But furthermore, one of the interesting things in the people pleaser is they are always looking for other acceptance and recognition. They are gonna feel safe and feel worthy if someone says to them, and if they don't get it, they would feel confused, inferior, and different from others. And the problem is to get that acceptance, to get that recognition. Sometimes they will do all things and be a person everyone wants, like a kind-hearted person, like a warm person, as perfect as they can. Yeah, they like a superhero, I think, but they just human. But one thing they don't realize, all of these things just harm themselves, just harm them mental health, just harm their life, just harm their life process. And that's what I know and what I feel about people pleaser. Maybe I'm curious about other thing about people pleaser. I think I will go first to Lukman. What do you think, Man, about this topic?
Well, thank you, Anthony, for the chance. As far as I can say, the main thing in a people pleaser mind is how to put their standards along or even equal with society's. And also, the commitment they are about to make is always expected to meet with people's standards. You know, the main thing, go big or go home, that's what their mindset. Like, it is good if a people pleaser could match the standards set by people or even can go further with it. But remember, a basic economy law said there is no limit for demand. And in this case, like demand, people will always expect or even force their expectation to a people pleaser. But they won't care when he or she starts to break down and don't meet the expectations. I've seen this several times, but in my opinion, I think this doesn't happen at all for me. I'm curious about others, like Belinda. I guess a smart woman like you would have a great thought.
Oh, thank you anyway for asking and the compliment. You're the sweetest man. About the people pleaser, I think people pleaser is a person who needs the recognition or validation of others because it makes them feel safe and comfortable in their circle. Honestly, I'm very amazed with a person when they giving their all and focuses on making others happy. The dedication is very, very good. But when it comes with the intention to please others, this is a misconception for me. It lost their sparks and kind of misdirections. Well, this is a good question. I'm curious about my Pisces sister, Almas. What do you think about it?
Well, people pleaser. For me, people pleaser is the kind of people who put others above them for the privileges of themselves and always try so hard to get people to like them. People who allow others to take advantage of them. People who bend over backward to please others. Usually, in many examples, the people pleaser type of person is struggling and has some issues with their self-esteem and self-worth. They will feel so low if they think that people don't like them just for being who they are. So they put on a mask and pretend to be someone they're not just to satisfy others. And in line with what Anthony said, keep on pleasing others literally won't do any destruction to others except themselves. I mean, you can really please everyone in the same way, right? Well, what do you say about it, Falda? What's your thought on people pleaser?
Okay, I think I also agree with Anthony's opinion. Like they tend to seek acceptance and recognition, and being likable is very rewarding for them. And they always find the first reason for their decisions to please people. And I think it's not entirely bad, as you can actually warm the vibes around you, the people around you, as you value your harmony. But I think it are bad if you overdo it, and it's always better to know your limits when sacrificing your needs to other people. And I'm also curious about Dul. How about you?
Okay, thank you, Falda. Yes, I seconded what Anthony said before, but I just adding my argument about the people pleaser. Actually, I think a people pleaser has a high human spirit, and the people is active in helping those around him. But they feel that the pleasure of other people is above their personal pleasure. If this continues, the person will feel bad about him. On the good side, a people pleaser is very generous and loyal to his friends, but on the bad side, they are more to inflame themselves for the pleasure of others. This is very dangerous for his life.
I think it's very interesting hearing from you guys, and maybe I want to ask more about: Are you the type of person who people pleaser towards other people? And please kindly give an explanation. For my opinion, I myself am a people pleaser in making decision, but I can become selfish too if something is against my principle or I simply not in the mood of being nice. And maybe being kind to everyone is a must, but you don't have to be anyone else for being liked, as you cannot please everyone. That's for sure. And I'm really curious first about Belinda. How about you?
Okay, cool. This is interesting, Uni. I was in that phase before when in senior high school, I guess. And one thing I could tell is being a people pleaser is freaking tiring. Like you really need those validation and recognition, and you'll be very sad and blame yourself when you didn't get what you want. You started questioning your self-worth, and from there I learned to be an extra miles person. Just when it was needed and just when I wanted to, and yes, for my own satisfaction. And now I am still seeking for other people's perspective too, but just to be an alternative input only. And there will be people who like you or not. People will judge you anyway, but it doesn't matter, I guess. Your life is about you. This is your chance to decide which energy you want to accept, the positive or negative one. I think that's from me. How about you, Dul?
Okay, wow. So good perspective from you, Bel. To be honest, I have a bit the type of people pleaser because I personally happy to be able to bring happiness to others, willing to strive for the happiness of others. But as life progresses, I can sort out what things are commensurate with and what maybe worth or not. What should not to be. And what should not be to struggle or must be abandoned. In short, don't be someone who is like a candle, but the candle lights up to illuminate the surroundings, but he gradually wears off. Maybe Anthony, how about you, Ton?
Okay, Dul. Honestly, at 1 second, I just feel like talking in front of mirror. I just feel like I give advice for myself. Okay, yes, I'm one of them. As you know, people pleaser. But like I said before in the previous episode of this podcast, I realized that actually it's fine to have our own choice, have our own opinion, I think. And basically, why I choose a people pleaser type is I just love to help other people, and not because I want something from them, but I just feel happy if I can help others. And I think that's my responsibility to help others, especially for my friend, in my classmate, in my organization, and in my family or anything. And I believe one kind of principle in life that says, maybe all of you that know too about this principle: what you sow today, you will reap tomorrow. So I think if I sow seeds of kindness to people, if I give help to people, if I give some help to people, I think I will reap kindness one day from someone that I don't know before, or from someone that I helped before. So I think I'm just a people pleaser type. What about you, man? What type are you?
Yeah. Thank you for asking. I just feel like slightly I am a people pleaser. How did I say it? People pleaser. Okay, whatever. But I used to be that kind of person. But as time goes, I realized that if I have to please people in my life beside God, I would choose my family, because no matter what people said or how they behave towards me, they always got my back. The term family itself for me is not limited by bloodlines, but it's about who's willing to hold your hand when you need it the most. So yeah, I'm a people pleaser, but only for my family, and that kind of family, not the literal one. And how about you, Alma?
Now I'm definitely not one. Like I've said before in the previous episode, I tend to be a very selfish person who literally doesn't give any crap about what people think of me. I only do things that I enjoy, and if I have to do something that I find myself uncomfortable with, I tell the others and simply let them know that, hey, I ain't down for it. Let's just don't do it or find another way. But I also cannot deny that I've been a people pleaser type before I'm in college, and now I have to admit, being a people pleaser for everyone was very hard. Like, it's endless, literally a non-stop job, and it's so tiring. So been there, done that, and most certainly I don't want to do that again. I'm done with it.
Okay, it's a nice perspective, guys, from all of you. But next question, I think I want to ask all of you, and I want to hear an answer from all of you. The question is, in other hands, according to all of you, what is the impact of someone being a people pleaser for others? Alma, maybe you can give your point of view first.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. So for the pleaser, I think it's surely affecting their mental health. Like, if you had any issues with your mental health before and you think that maybe pleasing others will make you feel better about yourself, you're wrong, honey, because it will only worsen your issues. Being one won't get you anywhere. It won't make you feel any better too. Loneliness, tiredness, anxiety, and even depression will be your friends. Besides, people will think that you are easy and take you for granted. Like, they won't take you seriously, and that's absolutely not what you sign up for, right? And for others, maybe that will feel relief and flattered, I suppose. I mean, they have someone who will do everything and to make them happy and satisfied. And I assume that having the pleaser type would also shift the dynamics in that group or organization, because pleasing others constantly would erode the integrity of an individual. And from what I've learned during the ethics of organization course last semester, integrity is part of individual ethics and part of the pillars of the ethical organization, which will affect ethical work behavior. If one loses their integrity, then the ethical pillars will be brittle. So, what do you think about it, Lukman?
Well, thank you, Alma, for the answer. That's very good and complex answer. I like it, actually.
Thank you.
I could only add this. Like I said before, it's go big or go home for this case. But the bad news is you will always go big in this case. Like in this case, even if you keep pleasing people, there will be some points where they or you will be tired of it. Flying higher means falling harder. When you keep pleasing others for a long time, you'll need a longer time to recover when you realize they're not pleased by you anymore. I'm curious about Falda's answer. What's your thought about this?
Okay, thank you, Lukman. Maybe for me, the result of being people pleaser is either they feel fulfilled or not, depending on what they intend to at the first place. For instance, I am being nice to someone in order to create an harmonious environment, or simply because I expect to be treated the same way as I treated them. And I think I feel fulfilled if the result meet my expectation and vice versa. I think Anthony's opinion is very good, because if you don't want to feel disappointed by pleasing people, just do it without any expectation of anything in return, and rather just believing that your kind effort has not going to waste, and it will be returned in other forms of outcomes you least expected. And also, I am curious about Anthony's perspective. Also, maybe you can share about your maybe there's a philosophy or something.
Okay, Father. Yes, thank you thank you for your chance for me to answer it. But in first, I like your opinion about that our effort is not going to waste anymore. And back to my opinion, I think the result might be positive result or a negative result. Like I said before in first question, it depends on motive you have when you help others or be a people pleaser type person. Either others you have helped give back you something, or just go away even without say thanks. I think it doesn't matter if from beginning your motive is just help others, but for some cases that you help others to get admiration, acceptance, praise, recognition, and other else, you might be feel hurtful and affect your mental health, I think. And I want to tell a little story about around 2 months ago. I read a book titled Philosophy Teras. This book I recommended to all of you that's struggling in being a people pleaser. In short, the book is tell us about a theory or mindset named dichotomy of control, or in Indonesia is dikotomi kendali. The understanding is we live with two things, some things that we can control that and we have power on that, while other things are not. We can control our attitude, opinion, response, mindset, but not for others' opinion or our reputation and our business, our study, or our circle. So when we talk about people pleaser, I think we already have a new mindset that when we help others and that person don't give back benefit for us, we already have a correct mindset. We already have a correct response to them, and I think no one again can harm you or harm your mental health. Okay, I think that's my opinion. What about your opinion, Dul?
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Obviously, the real impact I have of this being people pleaser is the real pleasure for us seeing other people happy and satisfied with what I have talked, and for our given them, and that pleasure is immeasurable. But on the other hand, if I go too far and cannot control myself, I can forget myself and not give myself a chance to say no. But nowadays, I want to realize that my personal have changed to happy. Okay, what about you, Belinda? How about your experience or perspective about it?
Okay, I seconded with Almas. It's true that it could affect your mental health. As I said earlier, that I really feel at rock bottom when I fail to get others' validation back then. Well, it's better to just change the intention so that the extra effort will mean something because of your pure and sincere intentions, and it is much more comfortable and giving you inner peace somehow. Yep, that's it for me. Mark my words.
Okay, it doesn't feel like we're almost at the end of the podcast. To close today's episode, kindly all of you give the closing statements from this question. Tips to avoid being people pleaser person when you are about to make commitments with other people or for something. For me, from me, I have some tips. Like the first tips are to be aware of the capacity that you already have. The second tip is what good and bad impacts will be generated if you being people pleaser. And the third tip is to be aware of what facilities and infrastructure that you already have to be a people pleaser. To the next one, maybe Lukman can give your point of view about the tips.
Yeah, I think the others have their own answer too, and I really respect their brilliant perspectives. But the most important thing for me is to count yourself in that commitment. I know it's hard at first, but please think about what will the result of this commitment give me before making it, and don't push yourself too hard on it. Before making it, give it time. I guess Anthony and others have other brilliant perspective.
Okay, thank you Lukman for your tips before, and I just adding some argument from Lukman tips. In my opinion, is the tips is focusing on what your goals and what you want to do in making that commitment. Let put aside all other expectation, opinions, or thoughts about you. Don't look at them. Just look what your goals and what you want to do. And therefore, you need to plan your goals before and plan your goal, plan your priorities, and don't forget to get a follow-up periodically to make sure all of that stay on track. And I have another tips. Maybe it might be useful for you. I think the tips is having a mentor is also important. I think mentor would be an accelerator in your process, and people always think to have a great mentor, a professional mentor that have many awards, have many trophy, and have many achievement. But for me, we don't have to have a mentor like that. Just a mentor that you think is capable enough to give you advice, and a mentor that they are bravely to the point says to front of your face what your mistakes, what your weakness, and what points that you can have more progress on it. And so make sure if you want to have a mentor, so make sure that you say it to yourself that no hard feeling in when having a mentor. I think that's my tips from me, and let's next to another great perspective from Alma, I think.
Okay, wow, those are some great tips. Okay, so for me, tips are start with realizing that you actually have a voice and choice. Set your priorities, needs, and boundaries, then put them on top of your list. But before you do that, you have to know what you need, what you want, what your goal is, and what are you trying to accomplish. Because I think you won't ever be able to set your priorities straight if you don't even know what you want and what your goal is. So, and please put a thought on whether it's worth it or not prior to committing to doing something. And if you don't see any benefits and you don't think it's worth it by doing so, then just dismiss it. It's better to reject it than doing it but you don't enjoy it. Please believe that saying no to something has its advantage most of the time. So please learn to say no. That's from me. And what about you, Ni? Give me your tips.
Wow, very interesting, Alma. So I completely agree with everyone. You have to know your own purpose, value, and putting yourself in the commitment instead of others. And it's better to never expect outcome from other people, as you will tend to feel disappointed along the way. But do it just because you like it. If anyone does the same treatment to you, I think being people pleaser is good. I think we all can feeling joy being around them, right? And maybe just the important thing is just being yourself and learn to say no if you really don't want to do it. And also, good intention and deeds will never go to waste. The universe can give more to you even from the things you are never expected. And what about
Yeah, well, it has always been about intention. Just do it because of your intentions, do it for the sake of yourself, as evidence of how much you love yourself. Remember, this is your life story, not someone else. You're not forcing yourself too hard for nothing. You are more than enough, and consider it carefully. Just do it when it's good and beneficial for your love. That's it from me.
That's it for today's episode of Ekyok, Excellent Youth Talks, English podcast series by Fadhlullah Ngalor Ngidul Podcast. Thank you so much to Alma, Anthony, Belinda, Lukman, and Valda for sharing your experiences and insight on today's topic. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe to the YouTube page titled Halodul and Google Podcast, Spotify, and Apple Podcast page titled Fadhlullah Ngalor Ngidul. Stay tuned so that you don't miss the next episode on Ekyok Podcast series. Bye-bye!